I'm Duane Roelfs of Servants United Parish. I will be leading daily devotions with you. The basis for these daily devotions is from Christ in Her Home, a daily devotional series. The Bible readings are from the Revised Standard Version. For Monday, June 21st, the reading is from Acts, the 27th chapter, verses 13 through 38. And when the south wind blew gently, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete, close inshore. But when a tempestuous wind, called the northeaster, struck down from the land, and when the ship was caught and could not face the wind, we gave way to it and were driven. And running under the lee of a small island called Cadua, we managed with difficulty to secure the boat. After hoisting it up, they took measures to undergird the ship. Then, fearing that they should run on the Sirius, they lowered the gear, and so were driven. As we were violently storm-tossed, they began next day to throw the cargo overboard. And the third day they cast out with their own hands the tackle of the ship. And when neither sun nor stars appeared for many a day, and no small tempest lay on us, all hope of our being saved was at last abandoned. As they had been long without food, Paul then came forward among them and said, "Men, you should have listened to me and should not have set sail from Crete and incurred this injury and loss. I now bid you to take heart, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. For this very night there stood by me an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I worship. And he said, 'Do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand before Caesar, and lo, God has granted you all those who sail with you. So take heart, men, for I have faith in God that it will be exactly as I've been told. But we shall have to run on some island.' When the 14th night had come, as we were drifting across the Sea of Andria, about midnight the sailors suspected that they were nearing land. So they sounded and found 20 fathoms. A little further on, they sounded again and found 15 fathoms. And fearing that they might run on the rocks, they let out 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for the day to come. And as the sailors were seeking to escape from the ship, and had lowered the boat into the sea under pretense of laying out anchors from the bow, Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, 'Unless these men stay in the ship, you cannot be saved.' Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the boat and let it go. As day was about to dawn, Paul urged them all to take some food, saying, 'Today is the 14th day that you have continued in suspense and without food, having taken nothing. Therefore I urge you to take some food. It will give you strength, since not a hair is to perish from the head of any of you.' And when he had said this, he took bread, and giving thanks to God in the presence of all, he broke it and began to eat. Then they were all encouraged and ate some food themselves. We were in all 276 persons in the ship. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship, throwing out the wheat into the sea." The word of the Lord. Eat something. Here, eat a little something. Such words can be a holy invitation. Making food to nurture, comfort, and encourage can be a holy service. Some holy suppers are brought to a sick bed or to the home of new parents, or are served at a funeral lunch. A violent storm pounded the ship carrying Paul, a prisoner headed to Rome, and 275 others. For days, fear, sickness, and despair kept them from eating. Without sun or stars to guide them, they saw no way out. As the tempest raged on, they gave up all hope of being saved. Guided by God's Spirit and following God's plan, Paul knew that everyone sailing with him would live. Just before daybreak on the 14th day, Paul urged the others to eat something, saying, "It will help you survive." He then took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to eat. Then all of them were encouraged and took food for themselves. Sometimes eating is an act of faith and hope. Our prayer. Sustaining God in times of despair and fear, fill me with your peace. For Christ's sake, amen. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.